Hi, Tim Sales here. In this video, I'm going to be comparing network marketing to a job, and I'm going to be walking through the differences and how they're similar. All right, with having to do with a job, the greatest part of a job is that it's the fastest way to income. No question about it. You go and you get a job and they say, okay, we're going to pay you this, and at the end of the week, you get money. Okay, or the end of the month or whatever it is. And so that is the fastest way to money, and that is the greatest benefit. It's also frictionless. And what do I mean by frictionless? In other words, most of us have been indoctrinated that a job is the thing to do. And so nobody is going to criticize you from getting a job. And that's what I mean by frictionless. Because if you were to say, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be a race car driver, I'm going to be a pro golfer, I'm going to, do network marketing, or I'm going to do some other kind of business, then there's friction there. Your friends are like, what? Because that's not what we agreed on over here, right? So when somebody goes to college or somebody, goes to school, the whole concept is to get out and get a job, right? So that's really what the training is about. If you're worried about what other people think, then my suggestion to you is get a job. Live on 48% of your income at a maximum and save 30%. Okay? And I'll walk you through why in just a minute. But that is what your best option is. Or get through this. Okay? So care less about what people think about you, because in my world, that was the way that I lived. It's kind of the reason that I went out with a job first, was because I didn't want people to look down on me or something like that. And finally, I was like, wait a minute, they're not going to pay for my house. They're not going to pay for my kids' college. They're not going to do any of these things. They're not going to buy me a car. And so I need to do whatever is going to get me what I want. And then also keep climbing the ranks of education. That's my recommendation, because the model in that world, in other words, what we're all indoctrinated on, that model is the more you get educated, then the more you can request for pay. Where in network marketing, the model is the more that you produce, the more you get done. It's not so much about a resume. It's about how much you get done, okay? So as you climb the ranks, everybody gets different comp plans. In network marketing, we all get the same compensation plan in a particular company. And so here it's different. What you want to do is have that resume. You want to have that education. You want to have that extra letters after your name and things like that. That's in essence, the way you're compensated. And then you're normal. Okay, so there's no friction. This is what we all agreed to when we went to school, and no friction. All right? It's a route. Okay, so I'm in no way like lessening, putting anybody down. It is truly a route. All right? It really, really is. And, no antagonism towards it. When I'm working with somebody, I'm working with a prospect, and that person has this thing going on, that they're really worried about what other people will think about them or something like that. Good, it's not for them, right? So that's the model. But here's the main thing I really want to point out, that, and I'll show you why in just a second, that you want to live on less than half of your income, okay? And save the rest, and there's a particular reason. I got a job. Salary, $50,000 a year. Woohoo! Tax withheld, $11,000. It's 22% tax bracket. So that means you really got a salary of $39,000. And I got a pay raise, 2.4%. Minus inflation, it's 0.6 pay raise. What's inflation? Well, the cost of goods and services that you spend your money on. And so last year, it's going to jump up 3-4% from last year. Your pay raise of 2.4%, you say that's not bad. But what actually happens is that gasoline, wheat, you know, heating air, you know, you name it, it's good, that price is going to keep on going up, and so your purchasing power is less. What does average look like? 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. That's what average looks like. Okay? If you look, and if you can see this red dotted line right here, that is where that 96% sit. And they haven't seen a pay raise in a long, long time. Okay, so this is their retirement account here. And what you see is that it's about $20,000 in their retirement account. Okay, and then less than $1,000 in savings. This over here shows where a lot of people who graduate college, and it's the percentage and the number of people who are on food stamps. So 33,000 PhDs are on food stamps, 293,000 with a master's degree are on food stamps. It costs the government, meaning our taxes, $65 billion for those. And so it's quite a big expense. And so instead of people getting their job and going into what they might have gotten a degree in, they're now in customer service, being customer service representatives, waiters and waitresses, executive secretaries, and so forth. Okay, and so that's what's going on. And so where the idea might be get the education, go out and get a job doing that thing, oftentimes it doesn't happen. All right, and so, and here's what I was talking about with inflation. So this is a very, very big study and is fascinating to me. Inflation kills income growth. So this is 2011 to 2019. The view of it is you got a 19% increase, 2.4% per year for all 8 years. But in reality, it is a 0.6% growth. It's 5% for all 8 years. That's the truth. That's where that came from. And this is the same number back in 1982 and 1984. And so that's the reason that it tells a very factual story. It's a long-term, like, macro trend, not a micro trend, but it tells the story about what inflation actually does. So you may think you've got a 2.4, but your purchasing power with that 2.4 is only a 0.6. All right, so that's the difference there. All right, and the other one that really hits you, and this is the most expensive thing about getting a job. There are two tax systems in America. One of those tax systems is called the W-2. It is for the poor people. 1099 income or 1099 tax system is for the wealthy. It was set up for one primary reason, and that is these people are the ones who typically create jobs. What do jobs do? Jobs give people money, and money gets put back into the economy in order to keep the economy growing. It's the whole concept. So it's not so much jobs that 1099 actually does, because I have a few people who have jobs, but I have a whole lot of people who are contributing to the economy. All right? Like thousands and thousands and thousands. And so that's what the whole concept is. So a 1099 person, okay, so let me give you a little bit of a view here. The median income, let's say, is $48,000. So you own your own business, you have a 1099 income in network marketing, and you make $48,000. Let's assume you can write off half of your revenue as a business expense. Now, let me just say this right away. I'm not an accountant. I'm not your accountant. So don't take any of this as accountant advice. All right, so this is a theoretical conversation. Okay, so you can write off half of your revenue that you earn. Let's say that your network marketing company sends you a check for $48,000 at the end of the year, and And that's what it is. But you had some expenses. You had travel expenses. You had, going to an event expenses. You had marketing expenses, running ads and things like that. Now you're only paying taxes on the remaining 24. So if half of that is written off, which puts you into the 12% tax bracket, you pay $2,880 versus $10,560. Okay, so W-2 employee, all of that $48,000 is going to be taxed. Okay, and so you can use that extra $10,000 there as a way to build wealth. That's the fundamental difference between you get paid as soon as you show up, you start on the clock, and you're getting paid. So that is a benefit, no question. In fact, it's extremely seductive because I can show up and get paid as opposed to having to perform something. But once you get to where you are able to perform, then it's so much better to get paid based upon what you perform than it is to show up. Because I've been an employer, I know that when somebody comes in and they want a job, I know that it's a high risk for me. So I'm going to pay this person $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month to figure out whether or not they're going to do anything, whether they're going to produce something or not. And so I've had to let a lot of people go after month 2 or 3. And so that cost me, $3,000 one month, $3,000 second month, you're fired. $3,000, $3,000, $3,000, you're fired. You see what I'm saying? So the risk is on the employer as opposed to the employee. Where in network marketing, if you will do, then you'll make a lot more money than as a job. Okay, I showed this in another video, and I want to show it again, particularly because it's a little bit different as an employee. Okay, so this is Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. It's a very simple way to look at the options in business. This is an employee. This is self-employed, where you break off and you do it on your own. This is a business owner where they're going to get leverage by people. They're going to have other people doing work. And this is an investor, is where your money is at work. So over here as an employee, it is 100% your effort times 1 equals your income. You times the job equals your income, right? No leverage. It's all about the clock. How many hours did you work? Here, you create a job. It's also about the clock. So you step out, you do it yourself, but wait a minute. What you were wanting to do is just do graphic design, but what you stepped out, you realized, oh, wow, I got to go out and get customers. I have to do my own accounting. I have to do my own insurance. I have to do my own asset protection. I have to do my own retirement. Oh, I have to set aside taxes. Like all of this changes from what you thought it was going to be of just doing graphic design. Okay, so you're trading your time for money, or your time or your expertise for money. Your expertise in being a lawyer, your expertise in, let's say you're a chiropractor, your expertise in whatever it is. You're paying your expertise for money. Okay, you're exchanging it. And you're starting over every day at zero. People who own a system, own a business, and have people, now it's, let's say you had 100 employees, yourself, 1% times 100. Now you see what leverage is. That's the only way you can gain time. So if I have let's say a business, and I work for 8 hours in a day, and then I have 1 employee, then I'm actually being paid on 16 hours in a day, even though I can only put in 8 hours in a day. And if I had 100 employees, you can see how you can multiply time by having this situation. And then there's investor. You put your money into investments. Maybe you put it into real estate, maybe you put it into stocks, maybe you buy car washes or laundromats or whatever it is. And then over time, it increases in value. Okay, so now your money is working for you. Okay, and then the great divide occurs where you actually can step back and look at this, and what you'll see is that 5% of the wealth sits on this side of the equation. 95% of the population sit here. 95% of the wealth sits over here, and it's only 5% of the population. And then people get upset. They get jealous about that. That's unfair. It shouldn't be that way. Why in the world these people make so much money compared to what I make? That begins to occur, but anybody in any of these categories can step over and do this. And I think that network marketing, it's the easiest way to step over here. Why is it easy in network marketing? Easier than network marketing. Well, number one is that if you wanted to start your own business traditionally, typically you're going to have to have a business plan. You're going to have to present that business plan to a bank. That bank is going to loan you an average of $360,000. That's the average loan at the Small Business Administration. Okay? And so that's a lot of debt. And then you're going to have to do it what? Part-time or full-time? Well, you'd like to do it full-time, but you can't because you've got bills to pay. And in network marketing, you're not going to a bank and asking for money. You're going full, you can go part-time and build it up. You've got a group who are willing to train you. One person, 3 or 4 people, and there are a lot of people within reach for you. Okay? And I would have to say that the ad that I answered, the only reason I answered it was the words "will train." I thought, you mean somebody's willing to train me for this? And that was the reason I answered that ad over any other ad. So now you get the idea that you got to get over into this category if you want wealth. Okay? And over here, and I've already explained why you want to put away at least 50% of your income. Or savings, you want to live on just 50% or less of your income because it doesn't look good. People end up spending their money and then they don't have retirement, they don't have savings and things like that. And so this is the track, if you will, that people typically go on, is that they will go from an employee to getting, owning their own business, doing the thing that they were doing as an employee. Now I'm going to step out here and I'm going to be a consultant, okay? And all they did was created a job that they're self-employed as, and then they have a whole lot of other responsibilities, okay? And then they'll move over here into business ownership. They'll create money and then go there. And this is my track of the last 59 years. And I started out with mowing yards, so it was kind of a side hustle for me. And then I worked at a gas station as an employee. Then I went into the military, and then a professor. I was taking a night course. He said, you got to own it or sell it to make big money. That was my aha moment. And I tried to own my own business. I went to an entrepreneur school, and I did a whole business plan. I slid the business plan over to him, and all the class was there, and they were all pretending to be the bank, and they were going to vote as to whether or not they'd give me the money. But the problem is that I would hire people to work. The lawnmowers would have to be repurchased because they wear out. Right? And so by the time I would break even on the business, those lawnmowers would have to be repurchased. And so I go, wow, that would never work. That's a business model that would never work. And then again, I tried over here being a consultant. And, I made great money with it, but it was a lot of time. I was spending my time all the time in doing it, and I also had to do the marketing, and I thought that's not a good business to be in either. And so I got back into network marketing. Here I got into network marketing. Here I got into network marketing. 57 millionaires in the first 7 years, 5,401 who made $250,000. Here I sold $1 billion in products. Here I sold $1 billion in products, and I finally was like, this is the best business in the world. Okay. So, all right. And from the category standpoint, when you're looking at businesses, I just want to give you this advice. If you're going to go out into the business world and own your own business, it is better, in my opinion, to have products, because you can multiply products. You can't multiply time. You can multiply time by training other people and getting employees. But your time, if you're in the service business, that's a challenge, okay? So if you're in the service business, add a product to it. These are raw resources. That is a business model. You extract stuff out. It goes to a manufacturer. They make stuff. They brand it and package it and all the legal stuff. And then they warehouse it and ship it. And then over here, somebody's got to sell it. I have found the most profitable and securest location I can find in any business model is to be the customer acquisition person. Okay? That's number one, because it has the highest margins and the most security. Customer service on the other side of this, they handle returns and complaints and restocking and all of that. I want to partner with somebody there and here. I choose network marketing to partner with. Those companies tend to be much more devoted to a particular product category than any of the other ones that I find. Okay, so I can go out on ClickBank or any of the affiliate programs, and what I find mostly there is gimmicky type of stuff. They're not devoted to the brand itself. In other words, they put up a product. This product helped my wife no longer be blind or something or other, and there's literally one that I watch that way. And so you look at the conversion rates and you say, okay, so I'm going to push that campaign. You don't know how long that person's going to be in business. Okay, so that's the way that I look at it. I've done comparisons on other things you're welcome to look at in other videos. I compared it to Amazon. I compared it financially to Amazon sellers, to real estate, to various different things. So that's it. And then what we do is, it's very simple, is that how do you get customers? Well, it's always the same. You generate a lead, you contact them, set an appointment, do a presentation, follow up, get a customer, serve the customer, and you make money. Okay? And it's the only way I know of to multiply time is through people. So once I get good at doing this to get customers, I then want to do this to get reps, other sales reps. They get the same compensation plan that I get. It is different than the employee model. You are paid on what you do. And if you can get customers, train another to get customers. They get the same compensation plan that you get. And so then I'll get 100% of what I sell, and I'm going to get 5% or 3% or 2%, something like that, of what somebody else sells that I trained. So there's a benefit from me training other people to do so. So I hope that helps you to understand a comparison between a job and network marketing. Obviously, there was no way for me to do a price comparison like I did in others because salaries are all over the place, okay? But what I have seen pretty common is that if somebody's going to make $100,000 in a job, well, they had to go through education to get there. They had to go up the corporate ladder, and that it takes either equal time or less time in network marketing to do the same. So I highly recommend you check out the real estate comparison that I did, because in that particular video, you can see the breakdown, and it's in a similar way, I think, to a job that way. So appreciate you watching. If you like this, comment down below. And then also, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. Thank you.